Hey everyone, welcome back to Redemption Metagaming. This time I've got a quick segment that was influenced by Bobby, because I don't think Bobby knows anything about the games before like a month ago. And just what he's learned in the last month is what I mean by that. And I've been going through some of my old stuff, trying to sort some stuff out. And I found some gems that I thought I would give a quick talk through the history of the expansions of Redemption. And this is probably from beginning of the game to about 2013, I believe, in total. I've got some props to go along with it. Yeah, so let's get started. So the first thing that came out was this. Not technically this, but this is what's called a limited, or in this case, unlimited booster pack. So Redemption came out in 1995 with blue packs, is what I always call them. These blue packs were really basic cards, very few special abilities, and there was two printings of them. There was the limited version, which was the first release, and the unlimited version, which was the second release. It was unlimited because basically we stopped buying them after a long time, so they were going to go forever. There's some discrepancies between those two packs, so you might hear some reference to the 2 or 3 liner soul. That's because the special ability actually got updated when the unlimited printing came out. So this has potentially a 3 liner, whereas the previous limited packs would have had a 2 liner. So those souls actually did play slightly differently as well. And as far as I'm aware, we're never errated to be the same card, same ability. So there was some weird discrepancies like that. That's really the only major one that matters. So after the limited and limited packs came out in 95, next would have been the Profits packs. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot something important. So along with these blue packs in 1995, the A and B starter decks came out. The A and B starter decks actually aren't unique. They're the only starter deck, to my knowledge, that is not full of unique cards. So they were literally just cards you could have gotten in these packs, but packaged into a starter deck and marketed a little bit differently. So yeah, just neat little fact. Those are actually the first cards I got. I got them in probably 1998, 1999. Didn't really know what it was, but my parents got it for me. So they were kind of boring. They were basically just numbers and colors. Next is the Prophets pack, or the green pack. This was themed, obviously, based on Prophets of the Bible, both NTN and OT. So Agabus, for example, comes from this set as an NT prophet. There are almost no cards that were ever relevant in my time from this set, except for maybe Great Image and Crimson. Off the top of my head, I think Dungeons of Malchiah, I think, originates from this set as well, which was just spoiled to come into Roots. It's a great card. That might be it. There really isn't much here. Some cool art, again, some more colors, but the game hadn't really transitioned yet to what you would even think of it today as a special ability driven game. It's very much a numbers and a colors game at this point, with very few special abilities. Yeah, not much to say about that. So the next 2 packs I actually don't have present because they are extremely rare, and I would have no reason to have them on hand. So the next set was 1997. It was the women's packs. Women's packs were pink, shocking color there. This set is primarily known for being the Falling Away set, I would say. It was actually a pretty good set in retrospect. Claudia comes from this set, very good card. Lamenting Jephthah's Daughters comes from this set, which was a big Type 2 card for a long time, obviously Falling Away. If I remember correctly, the New Jerusalem Sight comes from this set, which was the first multicolored sight. And I do believe sights were also introduced in the women's packs, so you can blame Sight Lock on those packs. Figures women mess things up, right? I shouldn't make that joke, I suppose, but we're all friends here, right? Just because this is going up on YouTube. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that covers kind of the relevance of women's packs. So the next pack, however, is a really big deal. It's called Warriors. Warriors were orange packs. I actually started playing seriously in about 2003, And by that point, Warriors packs were already out of print. They were exceedingly rare. So this was a very popular set. This is where the game really transitioned to a special abilities based game, which is ironic because most of the best special abilities in that set were fight by the numbers, negating all their abilities. But this is really where I would consider Modern Redemption having its roots. You know, these blue and green packs were great to start the game, but they aren't really Redemption in any meaningful way. They just kind of established some of the card types that we use more than anything. Oh, I made an error. See, look at this. I'm remembering things. I think I told you A and B decks weren't unique. The only exception to that would be the Dominants. The Dominants, I believe, were only able to be purchased in those A and B decks. I don't believe they're technically in any packs. So there you go. Look at me. So that'd be Son of God, New Jerusalem. I'm just naming Dominants now. This is what you get for filming things at 10:30 at night. So that'd be Son of God, Burial, Christian Martyr, Angel of the Lord. Were unique to those A and B decks. So we're talking about Warriors. So Warriors, from my understanding, saved the game essentially. It gave a lot of the funding needed to continue to produce the game at the time. And really gave it new life. So after those Warriors packs came out, the next thing to come out was the C and D deck, which I don't have any starter decks just lying around, as you might expect. But after that, the next pack was this beautiful Prophets pack. Apostles pack. It was gray. Apostles is a decent set. There's a few relevant things in it. Unholy Writ stands out probably off the top of my head. Again, kind of keeps shifting the game more towards special abilities, less towards numbers. Again, we're starting to think about things in a modern way. If I remember correctly, artifacts have been introduced in the Warriors pack, and so you really saw a lot more, again, powerful artifacts. I'm thinking Warriors had Holy Grail, but this Unholy Writ's a big one. Even some things like Paul's Handkerchiefs is in there, which is not really that good, but Holy of Holies got introduced in the C and D deck. I don't think there's anything else relevant off the top of my head, but again, I haven't played in a long time, so forgive me if I missed something really obvious here. So the next pack in 2002 would have been the Patriarch set. Patriarch set is the Destruction of Nehushtan set. That's really important. The Destruction of Nehushtan was the first way to effectively deal with artifacts, which by that point, if you're playing a bunch of Holy Grails and Unholy Writs, are pretty powerful at that point in the game. So Destruction of Nehushtan was introduced to address that. Yeah, I don't have too much to say. I don't remember too much about these because I wasn't really there when these were introduced. I suppose Warriors also introduced the Silver Brigade. That's pretty relevant because that's a pretty popular color and made little kids really happy. So by this point, it's 2003. This is about when I started playing Redemption, so I know a little bit more about this, I would say. Warriors, like I said, are already out of print, so they kind of recognized that they needed to make some changes and reintroduce some of those cards to players and allow a lot of new players to access those cards, essentially. So they printed the King's Pack. You'll notice it says it's recommended for advanced players only, not as compared to this Patriarchs pack, which that's for anyone, but this is for advanced players. So in the King set, big introduction would be the idea of warrior class or weapon class for enhancements and characters. Flip that around. I can't say respectively. So those classes were introduced. It's essentially, there were some new cards in it, but it's functionally a reprint set in a lot of ways of Warriors with the addition of warrior and weapon classes, which actually is a really big deal, because that means that the cards that were in Warriors did not interact effectively with the cards that were reprinted in Kings. So the reprinted versions were, we'll say, more thematically put together. And I think a good example of that would be like Maharai. He was a 6/2 white character in Warriors who banded to the Blue Brigade. But you would see a lot of times in speed decks would be something like Maharai banded to Claudia, who's in Blue Brigade, who bands to any male NT character. She would band to Ethiopian Treasurer from Apostles, and then Ethiopian Treasurer has the ability to play an enhancement as part of his special ability activation. So you would see a white, blue, and purple character in battle with a play with play initiative before an evil character exists in the battle. So you could do things like Words of Encouragement, into Reach of Desperation, into Book of Hosei, into Book of Jashar, into AOCP, which would, if you're keeping track at home, that would be I get to draw 12 cards and I get to clear the entire board of evil characters before you get to do any response to that. So when Mahara was re-released, he was a 6/2 white character, warrior class, and he could ban to any, I believe it was second Samuel or first King's character, something along those lines. Warrior class character. Again, so the idea was you were banning to other David's Mighty Men, as opposed to just any random Blue Brigade guy. So that created different banning chains and different cards, which is, again, a very healthy move for the game to kind of limit some of the like weird stuff that was happening. It's not necessarily thematic per se, and led to a lot of abuse, if I'm being honest. But yeah, so that's what King's packs are known for. They were pretty cool. I wouldn't say I'm like, I think I just argued with Justin about this on the Discord, but I don't really think that this that good of a pack from what I remember. Again, I wasn't there when they were directly released, so maybe I'm missing something, but I don't remember much that really mattered from this pack while I was playing competitively in any meaningful way. So after Kings is another pack I don't have, and that's because I just didn't like this pack and I thought it was stupid. That's a shout out to Mr. Hendricks. It's the Angel Wars packs, which were stupid in almost everyone's opinion. We just didn't like them. If you're familiar with the Angel Wars cartoon movie, basically this whole set was themed around that. Again, this is very secondhand, so anyone who actually knows anything doesn't have to quote anything here. Doesn't have to corroborate what I'm about to say. But my understanding is essentially they funded the set, or they contributed to the set. There was some type of marketing deal related to printing this set. But regardless, it was themed around the Angel Wars cartoon. And so as a result of that, all the heroes are silver. Most of the evil characters are demons. I actually have an example of one of these cards. I happen to see it in the corner of my... I actually probably have more examples than this, but I just happen to see one that's really accessible that I'll show how... like cartoonish. Oh, I have two. Great. So here's two great examples of Angel Wars cards. Everyone's going to enjoy this artwork. So first we have Worldly Woman right here. So again, she's just really worldly, very cartoony. Her special ability is if a demon is in battle, this character is immune to convert abilities this turn. So never played. This card is Wounded. Again, you can see just very cartoony. Place this card in a hero. Card is there. Hero's abilities are decreased to 5. Cannot be prevented by a good card. Never played. No one touched that. The ENF starter decks also came out around this time. Again, just another updated starter deck. Nothing stellar. Nothing crazy. The next pack that came out was in 2006, so there's like a 1.5 to 2 year gap at this point. This is the Priests set. I believe this set is notable for being the last set that didn't come out at Nationals. That's not really like strictly accurate, but generally speaking, after this point, most sets were coming out at Nationals. And that was kind of the intention behind it. They would drop it at the end of every summer. You kind of get a first access at Nationals if you were there, and then they'd sell a couple weeks later on the site or something like that. You'll notice a big change here thematically in this booster pack. This booster pack looks a lot cooler. This booster pack looks a lot more in line with other card games. You know, you've got some type of art, something that's selling. So this art, I believe, is from Burnt Offering, I believe is the card that this art is from. But again, it just looks a lot better. This is a much more marketable booster pack, in my opinion. So you saw just the game moving in a good direction. You can kind of see the evolution here. So we've got, again, some blue, like cloudy here. You can see the gradients are still kind of held. We're really just doing essentially color changes on these booster packs. And then you get here. And again, there's still some of this gradient on the back. You can really tell that. It's kind of like a multicolored dark gradient, but we've put a picture on the front. So that's something that you can see that update. I'm reading the backs of the booster packs for a minute just so that I can. I'm looking for something in particular. I've been talking about this trade-in thing, but I don't think it's here. So the reason that I have all these packs is because you used to be able to trade in these packs 10 or 11 at a time to get a free booster pack. So I could trade in any foil wrapped pack for another foil wrapped pack. So that's why I've got some of these empty ones around. I thought I mentioned this on the booster pack itself, but I don't see it. Yeah. Fun fact, actually, just because I'm actually just... So on the back of all these sets, it has small descriptions of them. So for example, Redemption, the unlimited pack, Redemption is a collectible trading card game based on the Bible. Players lead a brave band of heroes in a series of battles against the forces of darkness that are holding lost souls prisoner. Players win by rescuing the most lost souls. Trademark. Cards are common, uncommon, and rare in this pack. Then it's published by Cactus Game Design with an address in Chesapeake, Virginia. Just true for limited, unlimited. Let's see what was next. Next we skip to Apostles. By Apostles, this address, the redemption list, is actually now in Hayesville, North Carolina, which I believe is the current address. So Cactus moved, and by Cactus moved, I really just mean Rob Anderson moved. Again, I don't know any of the details of that, but interestingly enough, you can kind of see the evolution of the game even on the backs of these booster packs. It looks like that address has been consistent since, at least through Priests, and I believe it's still current today. Yeah, so we were at Priests. I've kind of stopped talking about relevant cards just because I'm going on and on for too long as it is. So the next set that came out after Priests is this guy, which whoa, this is cool. So this is what we call the tin. So by this point, Redemption, from what I understand, Redemption was struggling from a monetary perspective and had a backlog of packs. So this tin contains 10 new cards, and I think it's 5 booster packs. Let's see. Yeah, 5 booster packs from Unlimited, Prophets, Apostles, Kings, and Priests in this Faith of Our Fathers tin. So there were 10 different individual tins with a card list at the bottom so that you knew which tin you were getting. So there was no rarity. You could just buy the tin. And then you came with the 5 booster packs as well. These were used for booster draft as well. It's interesting concept. So those came out in 2007. 2008, they were followed up with this tin, which is the Rock of Ages tin. It's the same exact concept. It's just reskinned a little bit. So the Faith of Our Fathers, from what I remember, primarily Old Testament, if not all Old Testament. This one's primarily New Testament, if not all New Testament. Again, same thing. You can kind of see. This is set 13, which was, had Micah in it, and 2 Bears, which are two very relevant cards. Oh, and Gold Shield. Gold Shield's one of my favorite Gray Battle winners. It was a convert, but it converted to any color within the same, how do I say this? So it converted a hero to a different color, a different good brigade. So that meant it didn't provide special initiative, and it likely won the battle for you, which was really cool. Yeah. So that was our 2 tins. So that was, like I said, 2007, 2008, 2008. And then in 2009, we got something called Thesaurus Ex Praetorius, I believe is what it is. It's Latin. It's Treasures from the Past. It was a foiled set. So it was first foils in Redemption, 60 cards, text-speed packs. Contained 2 text-speed cards, and then it was like 8 cards from previous sets. Again, it's getting rid of a backlog of inventory that Rob had. So there was not as much upfront cost, and you're still reaping the monetary rewards of selling a $5 pack. That was immediately followed by Disciples in 2010, which was the same style of set. You get 2 or 3 Disciples cards alongside some older cards. And then there was kind of a gap before they printed a couple more tins, which were, again, themed the same way, but I think it was 6 more tins that were themed either Faith of Our Fathers or Rock of Ages. So there's tins 1 through 26. The tins were actually really cool because they could hold cards really well, so they were a good deck box for like a young kid. There was a lot of practical uses of them. I actually really liked that product. Not having a rarity is kind of like annoying for collectors, but I thought it was fun. Tins, and then finally we released the G and H. Did I skip G and H in here somewhere? Well, we released some starter decks, which are currently legal. I forget. I think those are I and J, actually. Yeah, they're I and J. So the I and J starter decks got released in 2013 alongside Tin 26. And that's about when I exited. So somewhere right in that range. So that's really the last thing I remember. I know there's a lot that's been happening since then with the early church, persecuted church, cloud of witnesses, the man block. I don't know what the block's called actually, but the Christ block. Is that a right way to say it? But that is a little bit about the original history of Redemption, some cool artifacts from the past. So these, I have blue and green cards. Packs that still have cards in them, as you can see. These ones are empty. So maybe next, like I said, I think I'm going to do a little pack opening with my 6-year-old. We're going to start with learning these types of cards anyway, so that'll be fun for him. And you'll get to see some actual excitement from opening packs. Have a great night.